We finally got specs for the Minimal Phone 2. And now that we've got all the info, I'm confident in saying that I'm probably not going to get one. And I have a few science-based reasons as to why. Mostly it's personal stuff, obviously. I just don't find it as appealing. Now, for me, I'm a tech worker who, we get sick of being inundated with tech all the time. You want something that has a bit of a lower tech feel to it, whatever that may mean to you. Now, for me, I tried some stuff, smaller phones, all this stuff, and I landed on the Minimal Phone, the predecessor to the phone that we're talking about here. It looks like this, pretty decent. I have some issues with it for sure, like calling is a pain in the ass because it has an error every time you want to call someone. The e-ink screen is far below anything Amazon or other manufacturers have. The aspect ratio is a bit weird, which is generally fine, but in some cases it has resulted in some problems for me. But cool, I would kind of recommend something like this or pared down like this for a tech worker who is kind of sick of tech. It feels like a refresh. As in you spend your whole day on all these fucking tables and interfaces and stuff, and you come back home and you get a pretty simple screen. It's cool. It feels good and chill, and you don't feel like a fucking asshole if you gotta look at your phone at 7 p.m. or past. It's like, oh, this is just a nice calming screen. For the sequel, we got the Minimal Phone 2. Now, when this was teased, my first reaction was, uh-oh, doesn't look like it has an e-ink screen. And that was, honestly, the keyboard, it was a cool idea, but the biggest thing was the e-ink screen in combination with that. That really interested me. And this one, apparently they are getting rid of the e-ink screen. Why? I don't know. Probably cost or whatever, people bitching about not being able to scroll as much because they're missing the point of the phone. But it's probably cost. Let's be real. I believe e-paper stuff is more expensive to manufacture because it's not as commonly used. So it costs a bit more. It's a bit more bespoke of a display. That's what I understand anyway. Now, when I say specs of a phone, I mean just the full specifications of what it can do. The chips, and I don't give a fuck about that. I really don't. Not for the purposes of myself, which is using the phone as a communication device. If I need to access the internet and email and whatever it is, if I can do that, cool. I don't care if it has a blah, blah, blah chip I don't give a shit. Though I will say this camera looks to be a huge upgrade, but you can just get a real camera, I guess. Or use an old smartphone as a camera. So the thing that sucks about this phone is, I'm zooming in here, it's going to look a bit janky. The display, no longer e-paper of any kind, it is AMOLED, which to be fair is a nice screen. However, that's not e-paper, not e-ink. I don't like that shit. They're making this screen have vibrant colors with this new screen and high refresh rate, which means you can just get fucked by Instagram, TikTok, whatever it is, much more easily, get distracted, taken away into the infinite scroll. I don't like that. This makes it easier to do that. And before people say, Kevin, use your fucking willpower. Just don't have the apps. Just don't scroll. Use your self-control. I don't have those apps on my phone because they're fucking, they're bad. They're bad for you. But that's not a good enough reason to welcome this kind of screen in, because pretend you're an alcoholic. It's totally fair for you to say, hey, I'm buying this new house and it has a mini bar. I'm not really a fan of that. Imagine the realtor was like, just don't fucking drink, you idiot. Who cares if the mini bar's there? Just don't drink. Like, yeah, you're right, but it's not great that it's there. Let's be real. So for me personally, I don't really have an issue like, oh, I'm scrolling Instagram on my fucking phone. No, it's not really an issue for me, but I don't like the oh, this is too comfortable of a screen to be on. I don't like that shit. That's the main thing. The rest of the specs, I barely give a fuck about. By all accounts, though, this looks like if you want a phone, like a smartphone, this looks like a pretty cool. It looks like a pretty cool device. I'm not gonna lie. And they do have the intentionality with it. As in, they have a modified Android OS, which looks like it makes it easier to kind of deal with a thing such as a message and then be done without even getting to the app. I know there are some launchers on Android that do something similar to that, where they group in your messages and they have it on a separate kind of pane, and you can go there, deal with it, and get out. So it's not a new thing. Obviously, with Android, you can do whatever the hell you want if you find the right app for it. But I do appreciate how they're kind of putting things in an organized way for you to just deal with the thing, get off. For me personally, that's I don't really like all my messages in one place. It's kind of annoying. Despite me loving Beeper, that's a nice way to keep a lot of like the social media messenger things in one thing without having the social media on the actual phone. But just when I'm going over my message, I don't want to see all my emails and blah, like, and I know you can customize that. I don't want to deal with that shit. I will say with these new specs out there, I was going between before I was going between the Clicks communicator and the Unihertz Titan 2 Elite, which in terms of form factor, pretty damn similar. I will say out of all of these, right now I would probably lean towards the Minimal Phone 2 out of the three because it's got I think it has the best camera out of them. Maybe the Unihertz Titan 2 has the best camera. But, they're all kind of the same shit. It just has a better intentionality with the Minimal Phone 2. But out of those three, even though I just said I would get the Minimal Phone 2, I am not getting the Minimal Phone 2. But I am changing from this phone to something else, or at least I'm going to try to. What will I change to? This, the BigMe High-Break Pro Color. Horrible name. And yes, Kevin, isn't this from a Chinese tech company, which means they have to give the Chinese government your information if they ask for it? Yes, that's why I went through quite a lot to debloat as much of that kind of shit as possible using ADB. So if you do get something like this, obviously you're gonna have to make it safer. And I debloat, I get rid of a lot of the Google shit as well. Not the stuff that's useful to me, but just like the extra bullshit that, oh, let's have BigMe AI. Get the fuck out of here. And some of the other stuff that's been documented to basically spy on you more than more than you already spied on. Because make no mistake, you have any smartphone, you're being spied on in some way, shape, or form. It's just how it is. Now, personally, for me, my government already has all my data. Thank you, Meta. Thank you, Google. So I'd rather not willingly give so much information to another government. That's my thing. So I debloated this thing. I just got it. I've had it for a few days. This is annoyingly, it's a little bigger. Not that crazy actually. It's not that crazy of a size. The screen is much bigger. But here's why I got this one. Or at least why I'm trying it out. With the High-Break Pro, you have color e-ink. Let me blow this up so you can see. Check this out. It's an image. Jesus, this glare is crazy. Look, it's an image of a stream, a river. And here it's food, and you can actually tell what color it's supposed to be. Now, I like color e-ink because it gives you the option of telling what something actually is, but not having such vibrant colors that you're like, oh, let me just keep scrolling. Don't get me wrong. It's fucking incredible to be able to see actually what is happening, what color something is supposed to be. But it's never going to look incredible. It's never going to look to the point where it's like, oh yeah, I want to look at stuff and watch things on here all day. No, not really. Like you can make it out much better than on this phone. But it's not fantastic. It's that physical limitation that I personally thrive with. And I found that out with this. Like when I had just black and white e-ink or e-paper, I barely use this shit because it's just not interesting. I don't want to do anything on this. If I need to do something important or whatever, I'll go on the computer or use a tablet if I have to. This, I'm able to tell what kind of pictures I'm fucking receiving, but it's not incredibly distracting to the point where I'm going to spend a bunch of time on it. And the great thing about Android is, of course, you can have shortcuts. So if I hold the volume buttons together, I put the accessibility on so that I can switch back to black and white on demand. So normally, what I've been doing the last few days is keeping it on black and white. And if I need to see something, actually hold it, check for color, look at it, then go back to just black and white. This gives me the benefit of just having a normal e-ink black and white monochrome screen, but while still being able to check with color. And videos on this are actually cool. Not that I would watch really videos on this unless I absolutely had to, but you can actually make out what's going on. Let me make a comparison. So with the Minimal Phone, this one, you can edit the refresh rate. I'm going to put it to the highest. And here is the beginning of Metal Gear Solid. You see, you wouldn't really want to watch anything on here. You could, if you look at it in person, it's slightly better than this. It's still dog shit and still black and white and not good refresh rate, so you can't really see, but it's good enough. You know, you can tell motion, you can see what's happening for the most part, right? Now, if we compare that to the Highbreak Pro, you can also edit the refresh rate and colors and all that stuff. So there's a video option. I'll put that on. Now, see, this is looking a lot, you know, clearer, bigger. You can see what's going on, but it's still not incredible here. Now, let's say I add some color to this as well. And now you can tell what's going on. Now, let me pick a scene that's not in fucking snow. Here, you can see some colors here. Obviously, e-ink, ghosting, whatever, right? But you can tell what's going on. It's and better as well. But I'm not watching YouTube shorts on this shit. Like, not intentionally. If a friend sends me something, I can actually tell what's going on now. Instead of before on here, where I would see a slideshow and just listen and read the captions as they would come up. I'm like, oh, okay, I think I get it. This, I'm like, okay, I can actually see what's happening, but it's not pleasant. I'm not watching shit on this, like, for real. But you can get access to color. It's cool. I like that. But like I said, for the most part, I use the accessibility shortcut to turn the color off, because what I learned with this phone is that, and just one of the most useful lessons is, you don't really need color 95% of the time. You just don't need color for phone stuff. You really don't, unless you're like I said, you're scrolling through some shit, getting sucked in by the color psychologists that made these apps. Besides that, you don't really need color. So by default, I have it off on here. I can switch it on whenever, but I normally don't. Another reason why I'm not getting, at least for now, never say never, but I lost interest in the Minimal Phone 2, the Clicks Communicator, Unihertz Titan. These phones that have weird aspect ratios, generally it's fine. Generally, you don't have any issues. However, I ran into a few of these issues recently, and it caused tough times, I would say. As I mentioned in the previous video, I was applying to an apartment, and because of the aspect ratio of this, I literally couldn't reach a certain button. I did change the DPI settings on it before, and that was able to help me reach a lot more stuff than before. So there are workarounds, and there's this app called Pixels that you can really granularly change your DPI on your phone, so you can make it. You can change the aspect ratio as well, and just make it seem kind of like a phone, or a normal phone. But there's still limitations on this. Like, I did that trick on a boarding pass recently, and I couldn't fucking see the gates. I'm like, I can't go down. I can't fucking see it. I can't scroll down. It just doesn't work. Now, these are edge cases for the most part. For most people, the aspect ratio of these phones probably won't be an issue. But for me, I've encountered an issue that would affect my shelter and travel. And, you know, obviously I can just print out the boarding pass to them. That's fine. But the shelter thing, the apartment thing, that one, the workaround was I got my old smartphone to do that section specifically. So there are workarounds to this, but I prefer not to have to use, like, you know, 2 or 3 different devices to do things. So I'd like one that has very strict limitations physically. This square screen, it is helpful to, you know, deter doom scrolling. It is. However, it's not a big deterrent for long. And I know this because I've had another phone from the same company as this, Unihertz, the Jelly Star, which is absurdly tiny, as you can see here. And not that I was doom scrolling on it, but I was kind of using it just like a normal cell phone. I acclimated because the screen is still all color, fully lit, all this kind of stuff. And eventually you just get used to the different shape, and you continue on as you've been doing. As you can see in this clip here, this guy is just, he's fucked. Regardless of the aspect ratio, the square one that's weird, he's fucked. He's still scrolling TikTok. And that's the thing. With an e-ink phone, you can kind of do that, but man, it's gonna look like and feel like shit. Probably. I've never been on TikTok, but those kinds of things, it's not like great, especially if you keep the refresh rate low. Even if you put it all the way up, have the coolest color saturation on here, the highest refresh rate, it's still not going to look fantastic. And that will be enough of a deterrent for you to just not spend so much time doing that shit. That's why I like this phone so far. It has a physical limit. Things can never look that good, ever. And the truth is, for the phone, you don't need things to look that good. If everything looks and feels good on this thing, then you're going to spend a lot of time on it because it looks and feels good. I don't want to do that, which is why right now I'm just not getting the Minimal Phone 2. Now, it could be a possibility in the future. You know, I've had my kind of training on this, you know, in terms of not having color, having shit refresh rate for a while, and it's trained me in a way to, you know, treat my phone much better than before. So now when I use this, I still use it, you know, as basically as little as this for the most part. I still don't have like Instagram and shit on this. The only short videos I watch are things that friends may send to me. And, you know, I'm treating this like a communication device. I gotta send an email, I gotta call, whatever, you know, that's how it is. Gotta look something up if it's tolerable, sure. But if you make the screen too good, the experience of using the phone is just gonna feel too good and you're gonna just do it more. I don't want that. In the past, I've spent way too much time on the phone. I don't like it. You know, at the end of the day, you're like, wow, what? It's 8:15 and I'm not sure what I did today. It's just the day's over. I was just kind of on my phone, you know? And obviously you can have these situations where you do this same shit on the computer. It's a separate issue, but this thing that people keep attached at the hip, maybe it's nice if it's got some limitations on it so that you don't have it become like an extra actual limb. That's me anyway. Some people may think, oh man, square screen, this sucks ass. I'm not going to scroll at all. Fine. But like I said, most people will find a way. If they have that habit in their brain of like, oh, I'm just going to look at nice colors and scroll, they're going to do it no matter what the screen looks like. So for me, the solution was to change the actual screen, period. And the other thing too, the keyboard on this thing, or rather the keyboard on this thing, it's cool, it's fun, it's nice. The thing is, I use this application called Letterly, which is the absolute best transcription thing of all time. So whenever, and I transferred it over to my new phone. When you open up a keyboard, it, you know, pops up. If you want to use it, you just say whatever you want. It has like, this is not an ad, by the way. I just fucking love it. It makes everything with pretty fucking good grammar, capitalization. It even gets brand names, fictional character names often. It's good. You can even input, you know, part of the dictionary there, so you can add your custom words and it can find that too whenever you speak a lot. So all that to say, I didn't really use the keyboard that much. I did appreciate how the keyboard existed, and that means that there wasn't a keyboard taking up space on the actual phone, which is really cool. But whether it's that phone or this one, I am mostly dictating anything that I need to, anything more than a sentence, I'm just dictating it anyway. So it doesn't, the lack of keyboard does not really matter to me. It is very cool, but for me personally, it doesn't really mean anything. Now, this does look cool, the Minimal Phone 2. You can accomplish all of these things, you know, like the type to activate an app immediately and all this hub stuff. There are apps and launchers that can do this for you. It is good that this comes baked into the system. Very cool. But again, the lack of e-paper screen fucking killed this for me, and I'm sad to hear it. Because if this were a similar phone, but with a nice quality e-ink screen like a Kindle or something, but you know, a bit of a higher refresh rate, or at least something that worked well with the actual hardware, I'd probably go for that again. But as it stands, I'm having a decent time with the option of color e-ink here. It's been nice whenever I get a picture. I'm like, oh yeah, I can see it's green. Yes, I can see that now. But I will say, like I said before, if you want a smartphone that's more pared down, you want to kind of dip your toes into a digital minimalist mindset, this seems like a pretty fucking good transition thing where you can get into this device that is basically nudging you to get off of it. I think that is cool. I am past that point because I had the previous model. This made me not want to fucking use anything. It's not a fun experience using this thing, really. So I'm already there. But if you're not there and this is the first you're hearing a minimal phone, I think it's pretty fucking cool. I would say this is better than the Clicks Communicator, the Titan 2, just because of the philosophy behind it. But in terms of the actual hardware, actually using it, no e-paper, no e-ink. I'm currently not interested. So I'm gonna take this for a ride for a bit longer and see how it goes. And I hope the people who get this are happy, but I won't be one of them, at least not now. So yeah, I would recommend this phone, the BigMe Hypebrake Pro color. Just make sure as soon as you get it, just put it up, hook it up to ADB, wipe as much bloatware and spyware shit you can, and then have fun with it. But don't do anything until you do that, because there's a lot of shit on this. But yeah, I'd recommend this. Just e-ink is fucking great. I love it. It's one of my favorite technologies. I wish it were cheaper. So yeah, if any of this these recommendations or insights have been helpful for you, give me a subscribe to the newsletter as well. And if you are even looking into this because your job in tech throughout the day is annoying and stressful, you can check out the Sane Tech Workers OS course I have, which is made specifically for people who work in tech who are basically shit at logging off and don't really understand that recovery is important and just spend all day logged on. As well, leave a comment. Which one of these phones are you interested in, if any? You're interested in one of these with the same, almost the same exact form factor, or something more inky? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.